I had an idea today. See, I wanted to play some video games, but I didn't want to feel like a fat mess just sitting there moving my thumbs. So I decided to play Helldivers, but with a twist. I was going to do a press up for every single kill I got in game. I'd always been fat, and I'd always been a gamer. And one of those two things had to change. This, I was sure, was a way to do that. Helldivers is a type of game that just throws enemies at you. I mean, they quite literally launch themselves. The story is that your home planet is at risk of invasion, and you have to kill robots and bugs to defend your turf. My story, on the other hand, so far, has been one of eating rubbish and not exercising all day. And in this gameplay, I'm trying to defend myself from lifelong obesity.
Do not fail, Helldiver.
In my first game, I joined a solo player at the end of his run. There was 10 minutes left on the clock and a Bile Titan at my feet. After dispatching him, I followed the lone wolf player back to extraction, picking up a kill here and there on the way. This first game wasn't going to demand many press-ups, so I did all I could in the final 2 minutes to get my kills up. And somewhat successfully, I managed to finish around at 114 kills. That means 114 press-ups. As I began the first 114 press-ups, my method was to do as many as I possibly could until I couldn't. Take a quick breather and then start again. In the first lot, I managed to get 41 before stopping, then 29, and less with more and more rest needed until I got 114. I prefer training this way, to failure I mean, because then I know my muscles are being pushed beyond their limit, and that's going to force them to grow. I would do what I could for Super Earth, though I was already feeling pretty fatigued. I think the bugs were going to invade. Not allowing the weakness in my chest to stop me or my war efforts, I decided in the second game I would face the robots. It was different scenery for one thing, and I also thought I'm less likely to get easy kills, and perhaps less press-ups as a result. Started the game alone, took out some factories on my way to the objective, but things heated up pretty quickly. I was surrounded at times, got pushed back to a cliff's edge, dropships appeared time after time, with more press-ups arriving by the second. And as I took care of the robots, I realised that I probably wasn't going to get fewer than 100 kills, and so I cautiously made my way to extraction. Now if you don't know about extraction, it takes 2 minutes for your ship to arrive at the end of the game. And though I prayed for a quiet wait, that's not what I got. I had obviously peed on the robots' plans and they wanted me to pay the ultimate price. Not death, that's too easy. I mean 175 more press-ups. I took a slightly different approach with these ones. The first 50 I did regular press-ups. Wide arm stance for sure, it's easier, but when my glasses came off and my chest felt too stressed to carry on, I dropped to my knees and I prayed that I finished. Then I carried on with knee press-ups, which takes a decent weight out of the press. I continued to about 125 reps, and with 50 to go, I altered again to a box press-up, which theoretically is the easiest of them all, but it still killed me. I could just about manage one last push for Super Earth, and I was going back to face hundreds of bugs.
Deploy the dark fluid.
I wasn't sure what dark fluid the voices in my head were referring to, but I was ready to rock and roll. After handling some bugs early into the mission, I took out a comms tower and worked my way towards their breeding grounds, taking out a nest on the way there. I was 10 minutes into the game, and I'd felt like I'd taken out 100 or so already. About halfway in, I landed on the side of a hill and took out a load of smaller bugs before destroying their eggs, though I wasn't sure if that counted as kills or not. All I knew was that this had been a brutal fight, and I was going to have to do a boatload of press-ups. So making my way back to the extraction site one final time, I once again hoped that it would be a calm wait for the shuttle. It definitely was not. They were everywhere. I must have killed 327 of them. So back to press-ups I went, but by this time any strength I had left was gone. So I decided to do them on a steep incline, which if you care, works the lower portion of my pecs, and it's a lot easier. I had fought for Super Earth and done my part in the war. I'd pushed back the threat of invasion. And at the same time, had pushed back the fat guy that lives in me and is constantly trying to break free and consume donuts and dopamine. I'd managed to turn what usually for me is a static gaming session into something I would consider a little bit healthier. And if you like this video, or want to see more health tips, subscribe for more.